Hey guys, Kev here, and this is a call to action. A call to all the Chinese OEMs out there. Stop trying to copy the Malibu. You can't do it. You just can't do it. And it's starting to frustrate me. And this is mostly in jest, guys, but jeez, man, I'm just getting a little frustrated with these two knives I unboxed the other day, and I've had basically every budget button lock there's been. I've tried it, right? Because I love this knife so much, right? And I want to have, I don't know, I want people to experience it on a budget maybe, and that's why I like the idea of the budget Malibu, but I'm over it. Stop. People just save your money up and get one. And don't tell me they're too hard to get. I've had 8 and I've never had special treatment. Like, you just get them, all right? They drop all the freaking time. Or you go to a knife shop and you buy one. Or you go to a show and you get one. Or you buy one off a friend. Or you go on Reddit. Or you go on Facebook. They're all over the place. Okay. So here's the thing. This all started with the Elementum button lock. We all know I hate that knife. It didn't have any deployment methods except a button. You had to push a button and flick it out, and then push a button and close it. And people always say, you could just add studs. No, you couldn't, because it was locked shut unless you pushed the button. My theory on that one still is that they tried to make the button lock, tried to do a budget Malibu, and they failed. They just couldn't figure out the button lock quick enough. So they just came out with that Elementum, played it off like some, I don't know, cool thing. It was totally a gimmick. And then they had time to work on their button lock until they came out with the Cogent, which I hated ergonomically. And I didn't like the action. Then they came out with the Altus, which I liked, guys. I really liked the Altus. I did. Small little thumb stud knife, and I think that that's different enough. You put thumb studs with a button lock. It's just different. You're not just trying to copy this. I know some people are gonna say we're putting the flipper with a button lock. It's copying now, Kev. I know. Altus was great, but too small, right? In the meantime, everybody and their mom started making a button lock, right? We had the Kizer original. We had the Kizer swayback. We had the Kizer, whatever the hell it was called, Cormorant. We had the Kizer Beglighter XL, right? This button lock, and then that button lock, the Assassin button lock, and the blah, blah, blah button lock. Right? Who else tried their hand at it? I feel like everybody tried their hand at it. Kubi hasn't. Thank you, Kubi. Thank you so much. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked here. So, the other day, I unboxed these two knives. And this one I didn't even know about until, like, 2 days ago. Or, the day I ordered it, I found out about it. Because people were like, the button lock Feldspar? And I was like, what? Button lock Feldspar? And people were telling me theirs had a stiff detent, and I had high hopes, right? By the way, this looks like dog piss. Look at this. What is that? I mean, of course it's cheap, but it also smells like dog piss. It's weird. But this one here is the Civivi Chevalier. Right? By the way, once I tell you this looks like a penis, you will not be able to unsee it. Doesn't it? Doesn't it? Was so excited for this. And that's why I'm doing this video, because I'm just pissed. I had the Conspirator. That was the last one they came out with. And it was so good. That's the closest thing to the Malibu I've experienced. And it still wasn't anywhere near as good, right? The detent just wasn't strong enough compared to this. And that's the key here, guys. Getting this to do that every time. See, that has a detent. Not really, but you know what I mean. It has a strong engagement, and it feels so good to deploy this knife. And So anyway, the Conspirator was good. It was great. I called it the best budget button lock yet, right? That's how much I loved it. I sold it today, by the way. So I ordered 2 of these because I had high hopes, right? And I get them, and I'm just like, what is this? It just feels cheap in your hand. I'm pretty sure it costs the same as the Conspirator, but it just feels cheaper. I was holding them side by side, and I'm like, why does this feel like a cheap piece of garbage? And this feels like a solid knife, right? Super weird to me. I'm looking at the scales, and they have this, like, look at this. Let's see if I can zoom in on it. Ah, crap. I hit the focus button. It has a 90-degree angle. I think that's a 90-degree. I'm an idiot. I'm math dumb, so pardon me if that's a 45 or something. But you see how that's a square angle here? Why wouldn't that just be a rounded chamfered corner? Like, I don't understand that. In hand, it just, I don't know, it just feels weird that there's a corner right there. And then you got another corner right here. Like, it's just odd, right? The wood looks good, in my opinion. And then the button is, like, mushy as hell. It's super mushy. And you push it, and you're like, okay, disengage. And it just doesn't. And then you got to push it even more. Nothing. Look how far my finger is pushed right now. Nothing. More? Nope. Nothing. More? There. Finally got it. My finger's in the hole. Like, what the flip? By the way, I had the green micarta one. Watch the unboxing. It's even worse. I had to, like, literally shove my whole finger inside. So she said, just to disengage. Like, it should be disengaging right there. For example, same setup. Button is kind of recessed. Whoa. Look at that. You push the button and it drops. Even this guy. Like, what is that? Ugh. Like, it's just weird. So it feels cheap. It's got this odd corner that makes no sense. Whatever. Is that aesthetic? I don't know. The button is terrible. It's super mushy, too. It's just like, I mean, can you hear it? For example, yeah, it's got a little stick. That'll be the one gripe I ever have about the Malibu. But listen to that. You can hear the spring a little bit, but it's like, I don't know. Detent, it's okay. I got to give them credit. They did a pretty good job on the detent on this one. It seemed like they dialed it up from the Conspirator, or they kept it the same and the blade is lighter, so they used the same spring and it works. Like, it deploys all the way, right, when you break the detent. Now, it's not going to do that, but it's good. I can't really fault the detent on it. You can reverse flick it, which is nice, right? It is nice. I like it. Thumb flick works, right? There's no choil, but you can do this thing, right? Just feels a little awkward in hand because of all the corners. Just feels sharp and boxy and blocky. It's like a short rectangle. I don't know. It's just, ugh. And the clip, I just feel the clip sliding around in there. And I guess if you're right-handed, yeah. You hear it? It's the clip. Moving around, pinching and like clicking and shit. So, needless to say, I was just really sad. Like, I had such high expectations for this. And maybe that's my fault, right? For thinking they could top the Conspirator, right? But I thought they could at least match it. Like, just, match it at least. I've heard some people say they don't like the 14C. They'd rather have the Nitro V the Conspirator had. I could care less about that. It's the same thing to me. They're both just as good, in my opinion. I like them both. But it just seems like they cheaped out on this. Or they just tried to make them too fast. Or I don't know. Something. Then I unboxed this thing. Feldspar button lock. And I was like, ooh, I've heard it's got a really good detent. So I'm just going to break the detent and it's going to be awesome. And that happened. Like, don't even need to do anything and it comes out. See if I can. I don't want to cut my knife. I mean, it's already bouncing out with that little bit. It's so bad. Look at that. It's basically got no detent. Yes, if you flick it, it flicks, okay? So for you guys who I don't care about detent, fine. But I do, right? And I had heard it was snappy. So to go from it's too strong, I literally had people tell me it was too strong, to this was just the biggest letdown ever. Okay, I'm just complaining. I'm sorry. The button sticks out of the scale, has no recess. We all know that's not good. The reason it's recessed is because if you're bearing down on the knife or something, you can't just accidentally do that. You can't just be like, oh, I'm going to do it, and then disengage the knife, right? Like, here's the conspirator. This thing you couldn't disengage if you tried. Well, I just did, actually. Push the button. I'm really, like, trying to do it. Let's see if I can do it with this, though. Okay, I can do it. So I guess it comes down to if you're bearing down the knife when open, right? For me, it's always been if you have your hands wrapped around it, you can't depress it, right? Like, there's no depressing it because it's got a recess, right? It's in a recess. So, like, if I push on top of this, if my weight is spread across, I'm not going to disengage it because it has to go down into something. I have to put pressure specifically in that spot to disengage it. Where on this, if I'm doing the same thing, I'm going to put pressure across the side. What's it going to do? It's going to disengage because the button is just sticking out of the scale. So maybe that's a minor gripe. I don't know. I much prefer to have it like this. Now, they did that, but then they had the button stick out too high, I think. So you can still get to it, but you have to push it in all the way. So I guess it's kind of a half measure. It's sort of disengaged, but not all the way yet. So I don't know. Anyway, I just wanted to make this video to tell these companies to stop. Just give it up. You can't beat it. You can't beat it. And I get it. I don't want to spend $250 on a, I get it. I do. I really do. But spending 60, 70, 80, it doesn't work either, for me. I just haven't found one that's... The Conspirator is the closest thing to being... The Altus was good, too. I'll give those two credit. So, if you're really looking for a budget button lock, right? Go with the Altus or the Conspirator. I implore you. Most of the other ones are just trash. Right? And the Malibu reigns supreme. It's just so comfortable in hand. I really, really want to try the new Mordax in Magna Cut. I think that's going to be fun. So, just try to save up. Get the Protech. It's not that expensive, It's $250, right? Yeah, okay. So, you got to just not buy 2 more budget knives, right? Just save up and buy 1 Protech Malibu instead of 3 budget knives. I think you'll appreciate it. I think you'll appreciate it. So, anyway, that's it, guys. Just sort of a nonsense video. And, a lot of that is in jest, guys. I'm not like... I don't really hate these knives or whatever. I'm sad. I am saddened by these two. Like, I was disappointed. Truly disappointed. And that's, that's just me. That's just the nature of what happened in this situation. I can't help that I was disappointed. I had really high hopes for this knife, and it just isn't anywhere near what I was expecting. And then this I just figured would be decent, at least have the D10 I was told about. So, I don't know. Anyway, this is going into the giveaway pile. It's still a functional knife. It's not like, you know, the worst knife ever. It's not like something I can't give away. It does have a light detent, so that's something, you know, the new owner will have to deal with or adjust. But it's still worthy of being given away, right? And this one I think I might sell. If not, I'll give it away too. This will stay in my collection because I love it. So, anyway, I love you guys. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day, and I will catch you later.